What's going on, my friend? We missed you this offseason. I know you were really busy, though. What do you know about the Eichel extension so far?
You know what? I'll tell you right when I get off the phone here, Lauren. My buddies are gonna text me. They're gonna say she lied. There's no way any of those guys missed you. That's the first thing that they're gonna tell me. I'm not surprised at this one at all. I always believe that Jack Eichel and the Vegas Golden Knights are going to work this out. I think he wanted to be there. I think they wanted him. All of you guys have been through negotiations. Sometimes people just have to go through it and find the sweet spot. I wouldn't be surprised because they talked about it last year with Jonathan Marchessault. If Vegas wanted to defer money, which was something that now is off the table as of Monday, can't do that anymore. Obviously, that didn't happen, but I never really doubted that Eichel and the Golden Knights would find the sweet spot. I think it was just a matter of finding the number. The rumor going around the summer, guys, was that they'd indicated to Eichel that even after they signed Mitch Marner, that they knew as their number one center, he was still going to be their highest paid player. And I just think they wanted to, I'd heard they wanted to try to get it done about 25 million, 25 and a half. That's still pretty good. As you guys mentioned, no tax state. And look, he's a great player. He deserves every penny.
Elliot, you've been doing this for a long time, man. And since their inception, I just haven't seen, we haven't seen it in hockey. But I think when you're looking at other sports, you could maybe say New York Yankees were a team, George Steinbrenner back in the day, just going and just doing these crazy, just knowing exactly what he wants to go to get. But the difference is there wasn't a salary cap. There is here. Like, how does Vegas continue to do this? I love it, but it seems like they don't have money, but they keep pulling rabbits out of the hat.
Well, don't forget too is that the cap's going up big, Mike, and one thing that's pretty interesting, guys, and especially the three of you who played. Like, I had a player tell me the other day, he just said, like, it just seems like it's insane right now. They, like, even guys who are still in the game today, they can't believe how quick it's changing. Like, they knew last year when the deal was announced that the cap would go up the next 3 years for the first time in a long time. They knew it was going to be different. But now that we're in the middle of it, they can't believe how different it is. And like this Eichel contract, I think by the time we get, I can't remember if it's a year from now or 2 years from now, it's only going to be about 12% of the cap. And the biggest deals when they were being signed the last way around, the Matthews deal, the McKinnon deal, like those guys, those were around the Panarin deal, those were around 15% of the cap. So in reality, if you think about it, Eichel's signing a great deal here, and it's the way the cap is going, it's going to be less of a problem for Vegas than maybe if he'd signed it 2 or 3 years ago. The other thing, too, to remember is that Alex Pietrangelo, who was an 8.8 million player for them, they've already filed and declared that he's not going to play this season. So they're going to get the cap relief. And if he's not going to play this season, then you're not expecting him to play in the future either. So there will be cap relief for that as well, too. Like, this doesn't hurt their flexibility at all.
Elliot, you mentioned the broader market here. I just had a question, globally speaking. I don't want to say the Minnesota Wild have buyer's remorse because Kirill Kaprizov's a heck of a player, but is it looking around the league now like that he is the outlier, or do you think Minnesota feels that they might have misread the market a little bit when it came to signing? Now you have Eichel, Kyle Connor, McDavid off the board at much lower numbers. What's the sense around the league in terms of that as a comparable in Kaprizov's contract?
Well, I don't know if I would say they misread the market, Corey, because he made it clear that, and through his representative, that if they wanted to get that done, they were going to have to go there. That was the number they were going to have to go to. And Minnesota, to me, they made a choice. And, you guys know if Minnesota lets that player walk or they trade that player, it's going to be very, very hard to replace that player. Kaprizov had the hammer, and he used it. And I think there's a lot of people out there who would say, I wouldn't have done it if it was me. It's easy to say until it's you in that position. And I completely understand 100% why the Wild did it. It would be very hard for them to do it. I think, guys, now when you take a look, McDavid obviously has 3 more years until his next one. I think we'll all see what that one's going to be like at the time. Honestly, Corey, the 2 guys I'm looking at right now to see where they end up when the time comes are Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes. Like one of the reasons last year Colorado made the decision it did with Mikko Rantanen is they were already looking at Cale Makar's next number and saying, what could that be? Like if the Avalanche handed him a blank check, nobody would blame them. So those are the two guys I kind of look at, Makar and Hughes. And then obviously when the time comes, McDavid hits the market again. But I think, guys, we're going to have to get used to more guys making at least 10 million than we've ever seen before, and more younger players making 10 million than we've ever seen before. Look, Connor Bedard can sign an extension any day. Logan Cooley, we already know 8 times 9.6 didn't do it. There are a lot, like, I'm taking a Macklin Celebrini. What's his number going to be? He's eligible to sign on July 1st. Like, we're going to see more and more $10 million plus players than we ever thought we were.
Elliot, just all the information that we've seen and all the changes that we've seen, I get with RFAs, it's more comp-based. A lot of times it's comp-based. You can look at a guy like Lane Hudson now, and you can comp him to, what Hughes just signed for, Luke Hughes did in Jersey. I mean, with UFAs, is it just the Wild West now? Is it based on fit and what a team's willing to pay? Like, you're selling your house? Because, again, you look at McDavid, he could have gotten 20%, and no one would have blinked at that. I mean, I think Eichel could have gotten a lot more. I think Kyle Connor did really well for himself, and it'd be interesting to see how that all got broken down and done. But we were talking about even Mattias Ekholm. Like, we kind of comped him to a Gavrikov who made 7 times 7. Is it just based on fit now? These guys are all just trying to win. Maybe we see more shorter-term things too, like Connor did in Edmonton, or is it just everything's different?
I think for Ekholm, it was pretty, like, I remember talking to him last year during the Stanley Cup Final. Him and his family just love it there. And, I don't think he had any desire to leave. He knows he's got a great chance to win. His kids really like it there. His wife really likes it there. As long as everybody here was reasonable, that was one of the most slam dunk extensions of the season. And I'm not surprised it happened at all. That was very predictable. And also, I think the Oilers knew they could get their business done with McDavid. They could get their business done with Wallman. And Ekholm knew that, hey, we'll get to you and we'll make sure it gets done. And it did. So I wasn't surprised at that. Like, I think, guys, like you guys know, the most important thing is winning. When people are winning or they're in a situation where they feel they can win, you're going to do things to sacrifice to help the team win. It's consistent. It happens all the time. And then it comes down to, what do you want? Like, are you happy in your current situation? Is there somewhere else you really want to be geographically? Or do you want to hit the biggest upper deck home run you can? Kaprizov, clearly, I think he liked it in Minnesota, but he wanted to hit an upper deck home run, and he did. And now we'll see, like, around the rest of the league, like, you guys talked about how some of you are going to try to go on vacation next year on June 30th because you don't want to work July 1st anymore. but the guys who are still going to be free on July 1st, they're going to do really well. They're going to do really well. Now, maybe we won't have the sexiest names, but there's going to be demand for some of those guys that are still left. Like, I've had people say to me, Alex Tuck, for example, may not be a $10 million player, but I think in today's NHL, he absolutely is going to be a $10 million player if he wants to be. And I think that's what we're doing. We have to understand where we're going here and what the rising cap means.
Did we had a sense that Kyle Connor, this was not a surprise? He wanted to stay there?
No.
Yeah, that was.
I think the biggest thing there, honestly, Brian, was Kyle Connor wanted to stay in Minnesota. I don't think the numbers were ever the issue. Kyle Connor wanted to stay in Winnipeg. I don't think the numbers were ever the issue. Like that 8 times 12 you see on your screen, I don't think the Jets had any issue with that. If you look at the Jets historically, they don't give big bonus money. Like, I think all of their contracts had bonus money in year 1 and then not after. Scheifele's was like that. Hellebuck's was like that. And a bunch of other ones were like that. Connor asked for it, and they said, okay, we'll do it. And the other thing, too, is he got a no-move clause throughout the entirety of his deal. They'd never done that before. And, I think the Jets deserve a lot of credit. It's easy to sit there and say we don't do that until, you need Kyle Connor to win. That team's a good team. They could win the Stanley Cup during the term of this deal. And you say, you know what? If we want to win and we want to show our market we're serious, we do this. And I think in this day and age, you think the Minnesota Wild ever thought they'd go to 17 with Kaprizov? No. But this is where we are now. And if you want to show your market that you're credible and you want to keep your best players and try to win. Some teams that said, we're never going to do that, we're going to have to do that. And that's what happened here. And I give the Jets credit for it.
Yeah, I was about to say I give the Jets a lot of credit. Winnipeg, not exactly the easiest place to attract big names or keep big names, and they've found a way. And obviously, you've been to plenty of games there. So have you guys. So we all know that it is a tough barn to play in, and they're in their window right now.